Hey everyone, welcome back to Lone Oak Overland. Today we're heading north from Ohio, up through Michigan to the Upper Peninsula. We're going to spend a couple nights there, and eventually across the Trans-Canada Trail over to South Baymouth, and we're going to take the Chi-Cheemaun Ferry from South Baymouth over to Tobermory, and then head south down to Red Bay, Ontario, where we'll be staying at a resort called Evergreen. This is a resort that my wife's family has been coming to for decades. It's a great place. It's kind of like an adult summer camp. So if you ever get the chance, definitely check it out. It's a lot of fun. You probably noticed in the beginning of the video there, we did add a hiker trailer. We picked this up just a few days before this trip and decided what better way to break it in than to take it on a 1,600-mile trip. So we'll be staying in that a couple nights before we get to Evergreen. We did already have a cabin booked there, so we'll be staying in the cabin once we reach there. We decided once we got to the Upper Peninsula, we were going to stay at the Brimley State Park. That way we could base camp there with the hiker trailer and then go out and explore the trails in Upper Peninsula, Michigan. As we're getting set up at camp, Callie and Mila definitely enjoyed relaxing on the bed inside the trailer. We did have the fan on and everything for them too, because it was pretty warm today. Brimley State Park is a 100-acre Lake Superior State Park. It's right on Whitefish Bay. It's only about 15-20 minutes from the Sault Ste. Marie border, which is where we'll be heading across in a couple days once we head into Canada. We decided to stay at Brimley simply because of location. Close to the border, right on Lake Superior, beautiful sunsets. There's over 230 campsites here. Most do have electric to hook up to. Luckily, this hiker trailer, while we bought it used, we probably wouldn't have added this, but it does have air conditioning, so we're going to give that a shot.
Continue on fill for 2.0 miles.
The campground does have modern bathrooms and showers, which is always a plus since we're not going to be able to get to the cabin for a few days. After an extremely long delay Sunday, we finally were able to get out onto the trails, but it was after 3 o'clock already, so the routes that I had planned on Onyx, we weren't able to do. We did just some simple forest roads. We didn't end up doing near what we wanted to do in Upper Peninsula, Michigan. We will definitely be heading back up there, maybe for the core event. After watching so many videos of the Upper Peninsula, I definitely expected a lot more mud, a lot more puddles, a lot more water. But just so happened this weekend there was hardly any. So most of the trails that we did run that we have watched on YouTube from other creators were completely dry. You'll be able to see a couple spots where water normally pools, but there was absolutely no water crossings or anything on this trip for us. We still had a great time exploring this beautiful area. The trails were amazing. Everything was clean for the most part. Definitely didn't see a lot of trash, which made us real happy. Mission Hill Overlook is part of the scenic byway along the Whitefish Bay National Forest. From Mission Hill, we're looking down at almost 200 feet over Spectacle Lake. Just beyond that, you can see Lake Superior as well, and the beginning of the St. Mary's River. On a clear day, you can actually see Canada from this location. And if you're lucky, you can catch a Great Lakes freighter making its way towards Sioux Locks. From Mission Hill, you can continue down that asphalt scenic byway, or just past the overlook, you can hop on Road 3089 here and start taking trails. This is about the extent of the mud, water that we experienced on this trip, just to give you an idea of just how dry it was. Just a reminder to always come prepared. I'm going to fast forward through this part of the video, but ran across a downed tree. A simple DeWalt 20-volt chainsaw usually takes care of all this stuff. Anything bigger you can just hook the winch to and pull it out of the way in most cases, but the DeWalt worked for us on this trip. Earlier in the video, I mentioned the delay getting into the trails on Sunday. I do want to just make a note of this. As overlanders, you usually carry some sort of protection. I usually carry multiple on these trips. One in particular is one we take just in the tent or now in the hiker trailer if we're using that. And unfortunately, I had left that in its safe in the goose gear in the back. And we had to rush around all day Sunday morning finding a licensed firearm dealer to drop that off to ship it back to Ohio to my local licensed firearm dealer. Not sure how I remembered it was there. We were just kind of sitting around Sunday morning and happened to remember, and very thankful I did. That would have been an absolute mess going across the border. So just some caution there. If you ever decide to go to Canada, make sure you don't bring anything that may cause an issue, and double check, and don't forget the extra one. As per usual on these trips, we get about 90 minutes out of these dogs. Then they end up like this. Sadly, we were only able to get a couple, maybe 2.5 hours worth of trails in today. We woke up bright and early Monday morning to head into Canada. The Sault Ste. Marie border crossing is significantly smaller than the one we normally go across, so it was pretty quick and easy through. The route across the top of Lake Huron is known as the Trans-Canada Trail. Man, it is a beautiful drive if you've never done it. Highly recommend. No trails or anything. I'm sure there are, but we didn't have time to look. But it was just a really pretty drive. After about an hour across the border, we ran across Tim Hortons, and as you know, if you're from the United States, that is a must stop. On our way to Manitoulin Island and South Baymouth, we made a quick stop at Whitefish Falls, just off Highway 6. The Whitefish River drops about 30 feet through a series of rocky cascades here before eventually reaching the North Channel of Lake Huron. You'll also notice some old ruins around the falls, remnants of the area's industrial past. It's an easy stop to miss when you're driving through, but definitely one worth making. Just before reaching Manitoulin Island, we crossed the Little Current Swing Bridge. This single-lane bridge is over a century old. It was actually built as a railroad bridge before being converted for vehicle traffic. The entire center section swings open to let boats through the North Channel. The real crazy part is this one-lane bridge is the only road connection between Manitoulin Island and mainland Ontario. I am one of those guys that likes to be early for everything, so we got to the ferry location about an hour and a half early. Definitely expected to be one of the first people there, and we were surprised when we got here. We were pretty far back in line already. Getting here that early gave us some time to explore the area. Some good history to catch up on. It allowed the dogs to stretch their legs a little bit as well. There's no shortage of food options here as well. There's multiple restaurants and ice cream shops and gift shops and anything you could need. And this is the Chi-Cheemaun Ferry. It's going to be taking us from South Baymouth to Tobermory. Neither of us had a clue what Chi-Cheemaun meant, so we looked it up, and it actually means big canoe in Ojibwe. And this ship has been making this trip across from South Baymouth to Tobermory since 1974. It's about 350 foot long and carries more than 600 passengers and 140 vehicles. The trip takes just under 2 hours, and in its 50 years in service, it's carried an estimated 10 million passengers and 3 million vehicles across. While it did cost some money, especially adding the hiker trailer to the trip, we felt it was a better option than driving around the Georgian Bay. We got to just park the rig, head upstairs, and enjoy the ride across. The Chi-Cheemaun is dog friendly as well, so we just got to hang out with the pups and relax. After a quick stop at the Hungry Hiker, which of course we thought was funny because we were pulling a hiker trailer, we started heading south down to Evergreen. We finally made it to Evergreen Resort in Red Bay, Ontario. Evergreen has been here since 1950 and has been run by now 3 generations of the Bennett family. It sits right on the Little Red Bay on Lake Huron. It has cottages, campsites, and a sandy beach with more than 100 acres of woods to explore as much as you want. It's definitely got that old school family resort feel. And after a long day of traveling, it was a great place to end the day and watch the sunset over Lake Huron. Jessica's family's been coming here since the 50s, I believe. We woke up this morning to some forest fire smoke that was north of us, actually right along the Trans-Canada Trail where we just were a few days prior. I noticed on this trip we had crossed the 6,000 mile mark on the Gladiator, so a quick Google search pointed me to Port Elgin, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram, and they happened to be able to get me in within a couple days. It just so happens right next door to the Port Elgin dealership is a Starbucks. Of course, the dogs needed a pup cup, and Jess needed coffee. If you're ever in this area, Port Elgin did do a great job. We spent a few great relaxing days at Evergreen. Didn't film much as there's no trails or anything here. It was just spending time with family more than anything. Of course, you've got to end the trip with a beachside campfire as well. The smoke finally rolled out, but the rain rolled in. And of course, before you leave Canada, gotta have another Tim Hortons stop. This is our normal border crossing at the Blue Water Bridge. It's really a beautiful area. On our way home, we did drive by Toledo, where the Gladiator was born, and we would be just a few weeks later for the Toledo Jeep Fest. We do plan on putting out more content. We're going to start doing some gear reviews as well. Please hit that subscribe button. It would help us out a lot. And thank you for watching.